Good morning, Woodrow. Really appreciate you taking time out of your morning to join me here for this interview. How are you?
I'm excellent, Rokas. Thank you for having me on.
Great. The reason I invited you on is because I saw a few very nice wins from you in the freelancing campus. Could you explain what they were about?
Absolutely. I really enjoyed the campus, the freelancing campus in particular, and it's allowed me to set some accountability for myself by posting my wins. It's inspired me by seeing other guys' wins using the principles in the real world. And my most recent win actually that I actually am just about to put on is I just closed a $30,000 deal with a recurring retainer of 8,000 a month. So I'm pretty excited about that, and I was only able to do that because of the lessons I learned on the freelancing campus.
I love that. And when did you join the real world?
I joined. I want to say almost day one when the real world launched. I was a pre-order, and that's so that was what I want to say November, December.
Mhm. And could you discuss any other wins that you've had since joining?
Yeah, actually, in January, which in my particular industry is usually the slowest time of the year, I was able to within the first couple days, bring in a $5,000 retainer immediately, and and that was key is just not slowing down. Honestly, when everyone is asleep during the Christmas season.
Mhm. Great. Congratulations. How different would you say the material is in the real world compared to what's out there on the internet?
Well, it's. I mean, comparing what's in the real world to what's in the Matrix, right? I mean, a lot of the stuff out there is just complete garbage, is a complete scam, and is overpriced. Frankly, the real world probably doesn't charge enough. It's a terrific value, and when I compare what's in the real world compared to what's on the internet, which you can go to college on the internet now, right? And that's just a complete scam. The real world is really just where it's at.
Mhm. And why do you think they only charge $50 for all the value that's provided?
That's a good question. Why is the real world only $50? I imagine that Andrew Tate wants to make it accessible for anybody, so people have literally zero excuse to not join. Literally anyone can afford $50, and if you're still broke and you have all these things in front of you, then the only problem is yourself.
Mhm. Right. And now going back a bit, how did you find out about the real world and what made you decide to join it?
I found out about the real world on through Andrew Tate, of course, and what made me really like want to join the real world was actually the previous incarnation of the real world. I had watched Hustlers University 1, which was completely free because it's all over YouTube and it's not commercially available anymore. And there were 100 really great lessons, and I was like, this is what I'm getting for free. And I just said, I have to get this. If this is the free stuff and looking how valuable this is, then the real world is really where it's at. And I'm and 100% correct. I mean that the value is there, and I've seen it pay off in dividends.
Right. Has the community had, has the community had any kind of effect on you?
Absolutely. The community in the real world has been honestly, it's the whole thing. I mean, to see other people on the same path as you, encouraging you, and sharing their best and worst practices has been invaluable.
Mhm. Did the Wind channel have any kind of effect as well?
Yeah, I mean, the Wind Channel in particular has had a huge effect on me personally because being able to broadcast your own win while seeing other people's wins has a reinforcing effect. It's the psychology of it is, I mean, there's studies on this. It works.
Mhm. Right. And a bit of a different note, has your average day changed now compared to before you joined the real world? Or is it fairly similar?
My average day has changed. It's a lot more methodical. The real world is is a regular part of my day that I set aside each day to do. But that's had an impact on every other part of my life. I'm a lot more focused on the things I need to do. I'm a lot more organized. I'm a lot more meticulous. I'm a lot more driven. Since I've got involved with the real world, I've more than doubled my income. So I would say that it's been a dramatic change.
What would you say have been the three biggest lessons you've learned from your time in the real world?
I would say the three biggest lessons I've learned in the real world, it sounds cliche, but honestly, surrounding yourself with winners, being able to post your wins, other people seeing your wins, other people encouraging your wins, that has been honestly key to my development and success. The other two, honestly, it sounds almost, it's so basic. It sounds almost like duh, but is the two rules: speed and money in. You don't have a business, you don't have an idea unless you're bringing money in. Otherwise, you just have a hobby. So money in, speed. I would say speed and that tenet of speed on every single thing we do, and applying that lesson to every other lesson, completing the lessons quickly, to actually implementing it, to actually showing the client that you're serious and moving quickly, has allowed me to exponentially increase my income.
Right. Very nice. And now that you're on this trajectory, where do you see your life heading in 6 months to 1 year?
So in 6 months to 1 year, I could see myself improving in a lot of different ways. In both mentally, physically, and financially. And what the real world has allowed me to do is reach all those goals, to ensure that I am in the best physical condition I can be, to ensure that I'm mentally focused on what I need to do, and ensure that I'm making more than enough money to provide for myself and my family.
Beautiful. And again, going to a bit of a different area, would you have anything to say for what kind of an impact Tate has had on you?
Andrew Tate specifically.
Yep.
So I emailed Andrew Tate, actually, and this is before he was in prison. And he replied to me, and we had a pretty in-depth conversation via email. He asked me to tell him, my complete financial situation, and that conversation was honestly so life-changing. Just that email conversation, that it's taken me on this path where I feel like my future is completely in my hands and not to the whims of the matrix. And I will always be grateful that Andrew Tate took the time to personally respond to my email.
Interesting. Yeah, it shows how much he genuinely cares about people. Right. Um, that was actually very interesting to hear that. Yeah, because it's not something you would expect from people who have amassed such a following to be responding to people's emails. But yeah, okay. Maybe I'm getting sidetracked now, but very beautiful to hear. And now, before we end off, what advice would you have to people who are considering joining the real world?
My advice to people considering joining the real world is just to do it. I mean, honestly, it's $50. If it's not what you think it is, if it doesn't work out, then what do you have to lose? $50. Who cares? And I would say that even before I joined the real world, just the conversations I had with people in the real world was worth the $50. So I would say that my advice to anyone who wants to join the real world is just to do it.
Mm-hmm. Great. And now for people who want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
So I'm really easy to find. If you Google Woodrow Johnston, I'm probably the first Google search result. So you can easily find me on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn.
Good. Could you spell it out?
Yes, Woodrow, WoodrowJohnston.
Yep, and I'll add that to the description of the video. So, Woodrow, thank you very much for your time again, and I look forward to doing a follow up to see how things have scaled for you, maybe in a few months.
Yeah, I appreciate your patience.
Great. So, all the best to you. Until next time.
Take care.